Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/INTB and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's easy. Go to audibletrial.com/INTB.
Honestly, they're not that bad.
Welcome to a new episode of It's Not That Bad Podcast. I am Fern here with Dom.
Hey there, everybody. You sound way better.
But it's crazy because I still feel congested.
Yeah.
It's so weird to explain, but this side of my head almost feels like it's like hollow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like I think I almost had an ear infection.
Ugh.
Like almost.
Thanks.
So you know that thing like where sometimes you have to pop your ear?
Oh my God, yes.
So I have to do that every once in a while. And like my cough just got worse. But my like nostrils have opened up a little bit more. I actually did get my sight of my smell back today.
Yeah, well, because like I was telling you, my sinuses I think are infected. So like my sister made like some, I don't know, Korean beef or something. She's like, "Ooh, smell this! It smells so good." I'm like trying to smell it. I'm like, I can't. I literally can't smell this.
Yeah, like same thing with my cat. Like well, it was a mix between like losing track of time and then physically being sick and then just like trying to also do the podcast plus like, you know, cooking stuff and, you know, watching wrestling this weekend. There's a lot of stuff compiled up where I forgot to clean his cat litter. And that's whatever, like, you know, he has his own cat litter, but I didn't know like how bad it was because I couldn't smell it. Because usually what happens is if I do forget, like after a couple days or a week or so, the smell, like every time he'll go in, like it'll whiff out.
Oh, okay.
So I'd be like, oh, okay, now it's like, it's definitely time. But like I said, I lost track of time and everything. And I don't even like, it must have been at least like a week and a half or more where I didn't clean out his cat litter. And I think this is like the most it's ever been. And he was getting physically upset. And I didn't know why. I was like, what the fuck's wrong with him? So, you know, I make sure, like, I was like, he has food. Like, he doesn't want scratches. He has water. Like, I don't know what. Like, I literally don't know what. So then I freaked out because I was thinking maybe he hurt himself or he got cut or, you know, something.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was holding him and I was grabbing him, squeezing him and touching him. He's just like, the fuck you doing? And just, like, you know, trying to, like, double, like, make sure, you know, like, nothing's wrong, you know. And he was fine. And I'm like, I literally don't know. And then I happened to be laying down and I could hear like, what the fuck is that? And I hear, and then I start hearing like really hard scratches, which, you know, sometimes he'll scratch like the bed or the little couch or whatever. But you know, it was whatever. It was like, but it sounded different. I'm like, what the fuck? So like, I'm sitting here in the dark, like listening, like, what is that? Like, is it from outside? And finally I find my phone and I turn on my light and it's him in the thing. And he comes out, he's like, Rear. I go, what? Rear. You know, and I'm like, it literally took me like 20 seconds. And I'm like, oh shit, it's cat litter. So yeah, so I get up, I'm like, fuck. I go and I check out his cat litter and yeah, it's like fucking full. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So I clean it out and everything and put it back and then it's fine. Like, wasn't freaking out, wasn't doing nothing. And I was like, shit. It was because I couldn't smell.
Yeah.
Like, who knows how long it was like that. Like or even like I was cooking the other day and usually like when I'll season and stuff, like I'll be like, this smells pretty good. This smells pretty good. And I'm thinking like, I think this is okay. And I don't know if I put too much seasoning or whatnot because I kind of burned the chicken. But I was like, I did everything right. Like, I don't know. And the only thing I could think of is like, it has to be something with the smell. Like I fucked up because, you cook with all your senses. But yeah, like it sucked for I don't even know how long. And then today I woke up and I was passing the bathroom and I could smell like a perfume or whatever, like just I could smell like a scent.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I could smell that. I hate being sick, but not for the reasons why, like, it's just, it feels like an inconvenience.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy being like terribly sick because that's when you actually get to rest. Exactly. Like when you get to take a warm bath or, you get to lay in your bed all day. And like, especially like when you want to be warm, when you're that type of sick, right? When you're just like, all the warm makes you feel better.
I hate that part where it's the uncomfortable part where you're like, I need the blanket. Like, I need to be warm. But for some reason, I'm so hot that, like, I turn the fan on and then, like, I know that's not good for me because it's like, worse. But, yeah, and I feel like the last time I got sick wasn't too bad. This time I feel like it like killed. Is it because time knows I'm going to be 30? So it's like, oh, yeah, you better start. Bitch. Yeah, this is just the start of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Lucky for me, I don't get crazy sick very often.
Yeah.
And like even these little times where I'm sick right now, I would say it happens like maybe 3 or 4 times a year, maybe. But this was actually kind of bad.
Yeah.
Not like bad, but it just like it took more out of me. Most of the time when I'm sick, it hits me for like a day.
Yeah.
And then it just like I deal with like having like a stuffy nose and a cough, maybe a headache, and maybe my body's aching for, like a day or so, and then slowly goes away. This actually lasted a couple of days, and then even now I'm still feeling the ramifications of it.
When I came back from New York, I felt bad for like 2 days, and then I was okay. This time, it's like it's taking me like a week to get like over it.
Yeah. I guess that's life, right?
Yeah.
That's how you live when you have the coronavirus.
That's what I thought at first. I was like, shit, do I have the coronavirus? Well, I better.
I don't even know like what the symptoms are.
I know it has something. Does it have something to do with like bleeding in the eyes or something? Or I know. So I saw somewhere where something like that.
You don't know coronavirus?
Oh, God. Is that what everyone's talking about?
Yeah, it's a new hip disease you can get.
Wasn't SARS the last new hip one?
Yeah, but that's like Britney from like 2005. We're way past that. Hopefully, the next time we record, we'll be completely fine and not have to wait to go to the movies at a specific time because you don't want to get people annoyed at you for coughing because you can't stop coughing.
That's why Sonic was perfect, because there was like maybe 2 other families in the theater, and they all had kids. So like the kids like make noise, because we took my nephews. So like it's perfect.
Yeah, hopefully next week we'll be completely fine. But until then, Dom.
Okay.
Hit us with...
It's not that bad?
Yeah, it's not that bad.
This is the fucking news.
It looks like South Park creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, are set to have a new movie come out. I know that I think they're in just like early production right now. It says, new reports have surfaced suggesting the duo has paired with Scott Rudin, tentatively titled Alma Junction. So, I mean, who knows what it's going to be about right now. I mean, the last movies they made were Team America and Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, the South Park movie. Honestly, though, I thought they would have made a adaptation of Book of Mormon by now, at least. If not them specifically, like letting someone else, like at least just them as like producers.
Yeah.
Because that's like such a hit And even like my sister that was telling me this, that like people in Utah like love it. Mormons especially in Utah, they sell out when they go to Utah.
They could do one of those things where they bring back the original cast, because look how big Josh Gad has gotten.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like I would say him starting in the Book of Mormon was really his, like, around the upstart of his career.
Because he'd been in a few movies before, but I think because of that, that's why he got frozen, right? Or he was Olaf.
Yeah, because it was all like, it honestly was like bam, 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 where he was everywhere.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, that's something that I've never seen yet. I thought they would release like a live video of like an original cast or something.
Yeah, but no,
nothing either.
Yeah, and it's like this is crazy too. That I love that Comedy Central has such faith in them that they're like that, because they've renewed it through, because they're on season 23 right now, or they were, or because they do their seasons weird, huh? They split it weird. So 23 is the latest one. They're renewed through season 26, and they even say that, like, if humanity still is intact in 1,000 years, people, well, they're just talking about, like, the show itself, like, that people will be able to see, like, the show, and then they said that even, like, they'll just keep renewing it. They have, like, such faith, because it's true, South Park, with age, has gotten, like, better and better and better. Even for those people, I think, who they look at it now and they're like, oh, well, it's not even as good as it used to be. It's like, bitch, have you even watched it? Have you, like, watched it lately? It's hilarious. It's so fucking funny. Still, like, there's nothing that I think the thing that comes the closest to that would probably be, like, Curb. As to, like, well, it's been on for so long, but, like,
doesn't feel like it's getting stale.
Yeah. But honestly, though, I want to see what they're gonna do, because I mean, at least from what we've seen, we love Baseketball, we love Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and we love Team America. I just wonder what they're gonna do now that they've had 20 years off of making a movie.
I mean, whatever it is, be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you hit it on the head with the whole Book of Mormon thing, because I feel like that's something that would be a very good movie, right?
Yeah.
And especially being something where I haven't been able to see it yet, so I don't know. From what I hear, it's pretty good. From what I hear,
it's pretty good.
But either way, yeah, they're always gonna push boundaries and stuff, so it'd be interesting, especially in this like climate right now, to see where they take this. They could maybe throw us all around, and they do some like crazy dramatic piece.
I know, right?
And everyone's like, what the fuck?
They pull a Jordan Peele, and it's
Yeah.
like nominated for Best Picture.
And it's funny to them.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows? But yeah, that sounds cool. I'm down for that.
So Taika Waititi is going to direct a horror comedy series, The Auteur, starring Jude Law. I think we can pretty much say that I think he's not going to be doing Akira, right? So according to Deadline, they said that Waititi is set to write and direct The Auteur for Showtime. The description for the half-hour series is a gonzo horror comedy, a twisted romance, and a glamorous, high-wire act of biting satire. It's co-written by Peter Warren. The series follows a film producer desperate to make a great horror movie on the heels of a massive bomb, but accidentally traps his production on a backlot with a serial killer. So he's going to direct the pilot and probably more episodes. I love that he's going back to horror comedy. I mean, obviously he has What We Do in the Shadows, the show, but he's more of just like an executive producer, right, on that?
Yeah, I think what's his name?
Jermaine Clement.
Yeah, Jermaine Clement. I think he's more of like the head of that show.
Involved in that. Jude Law will reportedly star as like the filmmaker. Yeah, I mean, this is it sounds pretty good. Like the Fox Searchlight Pictures report
Excuse me, it's just Searchlight now.
Oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. Anyways, Deadline reported that multiple episode scripts for the series were ordered, which means the series pickup is highly likely. So that's good. At least it's not like we're gonna premiere it and like let's see how it does. Like at least they have faith enough that Taika Waititi can give them a full like season and like they greenlight that.
I am excited to see him do this and put effort into it, because that was the same thing I felt about what we do in the Shadows, because they said if there's gonna be any continuation, it's gonna be them two. Like they didn't want to just give it away and do it. They wanted to actually sit down and be like, okay, let's see what we can do with this. And what was that? Well, years ago when they even talked about like, yeah, we'll do something.
And I love that when they did do What We Do in the Shadows, like it's organically like a sequel, like but it's not a sequel. It's like it feels like they just continued it.
Yeah.
But they did it in the best way possible.
And yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. The fact that they still take that with care, right? Even though this was like a random movie they did, how many years ago?
Yeah, I know.
And then this was like a predecessor to that's on like a basic cable show, but they still took time with it. So him doing TV again now, I guess later now, makes me feel like he still cares, even though he has his movie career. It's not like back in the day where it's like, oh, well, that's what he does. Now it's like, no, he's an actual big Academy Award winning director, but he's still willing to be like, but I have ideas that can fit in TV shows.
And see, I think that's the symptom of the future, because now we live in the future of 2020. But like that's what we're seeing. We're seeing creators who we know can give us so much. Instead of just doing a movie, like they're moving to TV or streaming, because it's like, oh, I'll be able to tell a longer story. I'll be able to give you guys more of what you want. I hate to bring it up, but like Steven Spielberg did that, right? He after he complained and bitched and complained about streaming, he's like, "Oh, guys, I'm kidding. I was just kidding, guys. I didn't really want to change the rules. I just wanted the rules to benefit me. You know what? Yeah, you know what? That sounds like every other boomer. So you know what? You're okay. You okay, boomer." But anyways, but like Ava DuVernay, she moved to Netflix and she was able to do a limited series. We see that with Alex Garland. He's now on FX doing devs, because he was fed up with one, he was fed up with Hollywood, but two, I think it's because he could tell like a broader, like a longer story, just like Sam Levin also did with where he did Assassination Nation, but then he's like, I'm just going to do Euphoria. It's like, oh, you mean Assassination Nation?
Minus guns. Honestly, this is cool because you're not only getting something I think you want from him, right? Mm-hmm. Like a funny horror comedy, whatever. Especially one with Jude Law, man. That sounds pretty fucking cool. So not only are you getting something with substance, but like I said, the fact that it's... I feel like he has a good idea of who he is as a auteur. Yeah. And it's good to know that What We Do in the Shadows wasn't a one-time thing, because at the time his star was rising, but it wasn't nearly as big as it is right now. Yeah. And so technically right now would be the time, right, where people would be like, well, I make Academy Award winning movies, so there's no time for me to do, a TV show. But he looks past that and says like, no, this is something I could really tell, in like a, limited series / television. I mean, or he could just go and give us an epic of Neo Tokyo in the future and how psychic powers develop and, all the stuff, be more science fiction about things and give us an Acura that's actually accurate. But, I mean... yeah, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen now. God damn it. But in any case, it's it's really cool to hear that, and to know that he's behind it is even better.
So Ben Affleck just recently came out and was saying how he left the Batman because I guess he was drinking too much. And he was told that he'll drink himself to death because did you know that you could drink yourself to death? No, I'm just joking. He was previously set to direct and star in the film before obviously it went to Matt Reeves, and then they got Robert Pattinson, which he looks pretty good in the one photo we saw, I guess, right? I think he looks okay. He opened up about his struggle with alcoholism, his uneasy experience working on Justice League, and the decisions that like led him to. Because I guess he's coming out with a new film called The Way Back. I guess he like spent a tumultuous time on Justice League. It was only one of the reasons he opted out of the Batman. He said, "I showed somebody the Batman script. They said, I think the script is good. I also think you'll drink yourself to death if you go through what you just went through again." So playing Batman was so tumultuous, he had to drink.
It makes sense, especially because you are the world's best detective.
That's true. So
that takes a lot of effort.
Yeah. He said that he also got candid about his long battle with alcoholism, where he spoke about his 3 stints in rehab and other A-listers such as Bradley Cooper and Robert Downey Jr., who assisted him on his pathway towards sobriety. I'm glad that he's like getting back to doing things because he is a really good director. The Town is an amazing movie. Argo's fine. So both situations eventually led him to his decision to star in his next film, The Way Back. It was originally titled The Has-Been. The film follows a widowed ex-basketball all-star, which I guess is played by Ben Affleck for some reason, who struggles with addiction and attempts a comeback by becoming the coach of a high school basketball team at his alma mater.
I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
And whatever, but it does suck because I was someone who, when I heard Ben Affleck playing Batman, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. I didn't hate it.
No.
Most everyone hated it. But especially when that picture came out, him in the Batsuit, I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And to an extent, it was. Like, watching that movie and seeing that, like, especially that one part, right, where he's trying to get Superman's mom or whatever.
Yeah.
Where he's just beating the shit out of everyone. It's like,
yeah,
that's the Batman I've always wanted.
And at the very beginning of Justice League, there's that part where he's fighting the Parademon. Like, that's the Batman we wanted. Yeah. But then the rest of Justice League happens, and we're like, wait, what happened to Batman?
Yeah. I felt like him in Batman vs. Superman was perfect.
Yeah.
Because he was very dark and brooding, but when he had to be a little bit more, chill and, like, funny, I guess, it was there. Because that's exactly how, I mean, at least we grew up with the animated TV series. Like, that cartoon, he was always, like, very
rough
monotone and oh, this. And every once in a while, he'll say, like, the one joke.
Yeah.
Or, like, have that one comeback.
That's why it makes it, like, good. Is because it's, like, because he's so, like, I'm just here to be a detective, guys. I don't need to say all these lines.
Yeah. Like we said, that movie could have been a lot better. Before we got, it was, like, cool. Especially when you see him in his own movie. It's like, oh, it's the same character.
Like Wonder Woman and Batman should be more like, hey, guys, come on. We need to get this done. And even maybe like Superman, but who cares? No one likes Superman anyways.
But I think that was, like, the biggest injustice in that Justice League movie.
I see what you do.
And that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
That he kind of had to give up all that because of, I'm going to say that it was the drinking because of not only, like, personal, but he probably was just like, oh, cool, I can't even do this movie without people fucking bitching.
Yeah.
Even if he, like, I doubt he sat there and read every comment, but that someone out there, was telling him, like, oh, yeah, they said, like, you're a piece of shit and you suck. And, Batman's not from Boston. And, but, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it's like, but at least he's a better Batman than any other Batman we've had.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that that's why he drank, But you could probably put two and two together why he's like, well, I better just keep doing this, in order for me to be happy to do this role. So good for him that he's like sober and clean and he's doing his own thing.
Getting back to directing.
Yeah, he's getting back on that old dusty old horse. But it just sucks knowing what we could have had. Especially we'll get into it with our movie.
Yeah.
The DCU it keeps kind of getting there, but not fully. And then it does really good things really well.
Exactly.
But it just kind of sacrifices itself.
I know.
For other things. But whatever. Good for him. And hopefully he continues and maybe he'll give us something even better than him being a Batman.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You know what a Harley Quinn is? A Harley Quinn's role is to serve. It's nothing without a master. No one gives two shits who we are beyond that. The Joker and I broke up. I wanted a fresh start. But it turns out I wasn't the only dame in Gotham looking for emancipation.
Spectacular news! Miss Quinn, she belongs to me.
Who are you guys?
Here's the deal, Quinn. You need me!
He's after all of us now. None of us are walking out of here unless we work together.
Will you? You gotta be kidding me.
Isn't this fun? It's just like a sleepover. We should order pizza. Big Cosmos. Harley, focus. Okay. I'm the one they should be scared of. Not you. Not Mr. J. Because I'm Harley freaking Quinn.
Who's having a good time?
Get ready, ladies. Psycho chick. I never call a woman a chick. I'll accept broad, lady, woman, and on occasion bitch. Bitch? What are you talking about? That for me, will you?
Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn is a 2020 American superhero film based on the DC Comics Birds of Prey and a follow-up to Suicide Squad. Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie, narrates the events of her life leading up to when, sometime after the Joker breaks up with Harley, throwing her out on the streets of Gotham City. She's taken in by Doc, the elderly owner of a Taiwanese restaurant. Recovering from her abusive relationship, Harley cuts her hair and adopts a spotted hyena, takes up roller derby, and blows up the Ace Chemicals plant where she pledged herself to Joker. At a nightclub owned by gangster Roman Sionis, played by Ewan McGregor, Harley cripples Roman's driver and meets burlesque singer Diana Lance, played by Journey Smollett Bell. Diana later rescues an intoxicated Harley from an attempted abduction. Impressed by Diana's skills, Roman appoints her as his new driver. GCPD detective Renee Montoya, played by Rosie Perez, investigates a series of mob killings carried out by a crossbow-wielding vigilante. Finding Harley's necklace at the scene of the Ace Chemicals explosion, Montoya notes that Harley is in danger without the Joker's protection. She approaches Diana about being an informant on Roman for them, but Diana rejects the offer. Roman sends Diana and his sadistic right-hand man, Victor Zsasz, played by Chris Messina, to retrieve a diamond embedded with the account numbers to the fortune of the Bernelli crime family, who were massacred years ago. Young pickpocket Cassandra Cain, played by Ella J. Basco, steals the diamond from Zsasz, but is arrested and swallows the diamond. Harley, fleeing from Montoya and several other people she has wronged, is captured by Roman's men. Zaz informs Roman that Cassandra has the diamond, and Diana warns Montoya about Cass. As Roman prepares to have Harley killed, she offers to recover the diamond for him. Roman agrees, but also places a bounty on Cass. Breaking into the GCPD, Harley frees Cassandra and the pair escape. They are ambushed by a number of goons and manage to kill them all. She and Cassandra bond while hiding out at Harley's apartment. Doc is approached for information by the crossbow killer, who is revealed to be Helena Bertinelli, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Having survived her family's massacre and becoming trained as an assassin, Helena has been targeting each of the gangsters responsible for the murders of her family. Quinn's apartment is bombed by criminals looking for Cass. Harley calls Roman and offers to turn Cassandra over in exchange for his protection. Dinah notifies Montoya of the rendezvous, while Zaz notices Dinah's treacherous text message en route to the park and informs Roman. Devastated by Dinah's betrayal, Roman dons his ritualistic mask, from which he gets his villainous nickname, Black Mask. At the park, Montoya confronts Harley, but is knocked out of a window. Zaz arrives and tranquilizes Harley before holding Dinah at gunpoint. He is killed by Helena, who reveals Zaz was the last of her family's killers. Montoya returns, and a standoff ensues, until they realize Roman has arrived with a small army of masked criminals known collectively as the False Face Society. Using Quinn's old gear, the makeshift team successfully withstand and repel their attack. During the battle, Cass is captured by Roman, while Montoya is shot. She survives due to her wearing Harley's bulletproof bustier. Dinah reveals her metahuman ability of supersonic level screaming, defeating an additional number of mobsters aligned with Roman. Harley gives chase on roller skates, and with assistance from Helena and her motorcycle, the pair pursue Roman. At a nearby pier, the final confrontation occurs. Taking aim at a shadowy figure in the distance, Harley wastes her last bullet as Roman appears from behind the figure, which is revealed to be a statue. Roman holds Cassandra hostage and prepares to kill her. However, Cassandra pulls the ring from a grenade she had taken from Harley's weapon chest earlier, slipping the grenade in Roman's jacket. Harley throws Roman from the pier just before the grenade detonates and kills him. In the aftermath of destroying Roman's criminal empire, Montoya quits the GCPD. With the money with the accounts hidden inside the diamond, she joins Dinah and Helena in establishing a team of vigilantes, the Birds of Prey. Harley and Cassandra sell the diamond to a pawn shop and start their own business.
Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn. No, the Birds of Prey and the Harley Quinn. No, okay, it's the Harley Quinn.
Okay.
And the Birds of Prey Emancipation Proclamation.
No.
The Fantabulous
Oh.
the Birds of Prey
Okay.
and the Fantabulous Life of Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Okay. And the Harley Quinn's in there.
Yeah.
So dumb. This movie has been pretty divisive, Twitter tells me. So now that we've seen it,
Yes.
tell me what you think about it.
I will right off the bat just say it is okay. So the last movie we saw from the DCE or whatever it's called, it was Shazam, right? And we both love Shazam. Shazam honestly was like, for me, like the high point was like, whoa, see, like, why can't they do this every time? Like, it's a good introduction. It's a good, like, story. It's self-contained in a way, like, it's not a world-ending, like, event, but it's big enough where it's like, oh, yeah, it does need, like, a Shazam, right? And then also, like, they do reference, like, the other things, but not too much to where it's like, of course you're going to shoehorn this in, right? Then we get to this movie. There's a lot about this movie that it's like, I understand what they're doing. They're taking the tone from like Shazam and what they've seen like actually works in movies. And they're like, but what if we cranked it up to like 10? Because there's parts where it's like, So this is supposed to be a follow-up to Suicide Squad, right? And it just doesn't work sometimes because it's like, this is too ridiculous a little bit. Some things work. Like, I think Margot Robbie does a great job. She does a really good job. I think Chris Messina as Mr. Zaz, he does a pretty good job too. Honestly, like, I think the fact that they called it Birds of Prey was wrong, because this movie is really, it's Harley Quinn. And I was like, it's Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, which is what they ended up changing the title to. Because I was like, because that makes more fucking sense than Birds of Prey and the the Emancipation Proclamation of Harley Quinzel. I don't know, whatever. But, I mean, I don't know what it is. I think they're just trying a little too hard with some things. Like, there's things that I love. Like, I love that they brought in the hyena from, like, the animated series, right? Like, she has a hyena. Like, that's true. And I like that they don't show what, like, the Joker. Like, the fact that they go out of their way to explicitly... Like, even the cartoon Joker that they have is, it's, like, nondescript Joker. It's literally... It could be any Joker. And I like that they don't really get too much into what happened in Suicide Squad. I don't know. I liked it. I just don't think it's like as good as Shazam. It's a step up better from... I mean, honestly, most movies are better than Suicide Squad. I do like the showdown scene where they're in the carnival house. I like that set. Like, that production design looks pretty good. Although, I think at the very end, when she kills Zaz, wasn't earned by Harley Quinn. It was actually earned by Huntress. Like, Huntress should have been the one to kill him, because he's the one who did it. When she kicked him off, like, I was like, and he blows up, I was like, that's it? That's stupid. I even turned to Stephanie and I was like, this is ridiculous, because Huntress deserved it more because he killed her family. Like, it doesn't feel earned because he ruined her day. She couldn't have a breakfast sandwich.
Honestly, what you said pretty much sums everything up. They should have never tried to shoehorn in this, oh, we're best friends, whatever, because you don't even get that feeling till the end.
And like, they're not even really friends in the end. Like,
they're not.
No, like, I feel like the Harley Quinn isn't.
But I appreciate the characters there.
Yeah.
I think they should have just stuck with a Harley Quinn movie and have a Black Canary come in.
Yeah.
And then you have Huntress come. You know what I mean? Like, they could have those parts and those elements still be there, but she's the main focus. Her and the little girl, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like they just could have done it. They could have cleaned it up a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that was probably the biggest regret for me, because it's like, what do? You can't, you want more of these characters, but you're not going to get it. It would be different if in the beginning of the movie, everything came together real quick.
Yeah.
And then you slowly learn, like, oh, who Huntress is, right? And, you slowly learn, the truth behind Black Canary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be different. And I feel like it would play off better with the whole Birds of Prey type of ordeal, especially because you could even say in this universe, she happens to be a part of it. And it's like one of those Avenger scenes where she's not technically like an Avenger, but there's a configuration of a Birds of Prey where she happens to be in there, whatever, right? You could easily set that up, whatever, but they never went for that. No. The ending that kind of makes you feel like they're gonna do it, and then it's like, oh nope, actually I'm just doing exactly what I've always done.
Yeah.
And they're doing their thing, and it's like, oh, okay.
I like how her arc was, I have to be me and independent. The end is, I'm me and independent. Like, it's not really like a change. Like, she doesn't really like, she was already like being independent.
Yeah, but she has a kid now.
Oh, sorry. So is that kid going to be in the Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
The thing to me is like, it's like, so do they want to make an actual Birds of Prey movie? Because I would like to see that. But like, it doesn't feel like these people are here for long. It doesn't feel like they're going to be here in like another DC. Honestly, they should have just
You know what they should have
cleaned
done
the slate.
is they should have did it more like a Deadpool, where it's all focused on her. Everyone else is a revolving character, and really she's the only one that has to be eccentric, right? I mean, you get what's his name, Ewan McGregor, which he does really well.
Yeah, I like
especially
that.
right at towards the end.
Yeah, I like how he's like, I gotta play a batshit crazy villain. I'm gonna be a batshit crazy villain.
Yeah. And his character definitely got better because in the beginning I was like, oh, it's kind of whatever, and then it was like, oh, as it kept going on, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, perfect. And yeah, you're right. Like, there's nothing bad or good about like Black Canary or Huntress because, I mean, Black Canary gets a little bit more than anyone, but she just kind of feels like a character.
Honestly, if this movie was like what you said, where if the movie was Harley Quinn, right, and she's telling the story, and then all of a sudden the Birds of Prey come in, and then it's like, wait, who are these guys now? And then she goes back and tells you, like, well, before this, Huntress did this, and then Black Canary did this, and then Montoya did this. They found each other, and they decided to create a group called Birds of Prey. It would make a little bit more sense, because now you understand, like, oh, they're an established group already, because this just kind of, it's like, when it gets to the end and you find out that they're like a group, it's like, oh, these people who kind of make fun of that one girl because she's kind of awkward because she's an assassin, and then the other lady who's like older and is like, oh, look at me, I'm Hispanic. Ha.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to pinpoint where you can make this a lot better because there's still good elements. There was times I did feel annoyed with Harley Quinn.
Me too.
Because, but I was like, I understand that this is her character, but they should have pulled it. They honestly should have just said Deadpool, but with Harley Quinn, where she's the one, making these little quips and these little jokes, and she's killing these people like really, really fucked up. But everyone else around here, like Black Canary's more serious. She's like, hey, this is my life, like, blah, 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 whatever. Or Montoya's like, oh, everyone fucks me over in my life, and I'm just trying to do good. I mean, like, you could have easily did something like that and still have a story revolve around Harley Quinn.
One thing I didn't like was that they made Huntress, like, super awkward around people. Like, because in the comics, she's, like, a badass, like, she goes around killing, basically kind of like a Punisher, but not as like, not as much guns, right? It's like,
more like
but she goes around on a motorcycle killing people, right?
Yeah.
And this, it's like she does that, but then she's also like, yeah, you know who I am? And he's like, the crossbow killer. She's like, oh, what? Huh? What? Like, what? It throws her off, and it's like, what?
That's what I mean. Like, you could have easily had all of them play straight. And it would still be funny because
Harley Quinn's wacky.
Yeah, because like she's like, no, he killed my family, and she was like, yeah, but he's the reason why I didn't get to eat my sandwich.
Yeah, see, like that would actually be really funny because it's like, yeah, they're all taking this like super fucking serious. She's like, yeah, and my sandwich, and it's like, see, and it would play for laughs.
I think that's really where this felt kind of weird because. If you were going to do all of this, right, you could have went that route instead of having to do, like, where you were kind of saying with Shazam, where they're like, yeah, what if we just, like, borrow, the whole, like, feel and the whole, like, theme of it, right? Where, this and this and this. But it's like, yeah, but Harley Quinn's a completely different character. The story's a completely different thing. You don't need everyone there to go back and forth with her. It's her going back and forth with herself.
Yeah.
That's all you needed. And I feel like that's kind of where it fell off because it just felt like there wasn't enough of everyone else's character development to make me feel like, yeah, cool. Or it wasn't Harley centric enough where I could be like, oh, this is all her movie.
Mm.
But what you're talking about earlier, it did feel weird but cool at the same time, that last end part.
Yeah.
Because that felt very much like 80s Batman. Like you could easily easily wait for Michael Keaton to come out and be like, "Hey, what are you guys doing here? Huh? Making too much noise?" Because it looked very Tim Burton.
Yeah.
And even on the dock, where it's like shadowy,
very gothic.
Yeah, it felt like, hey, what if we just kind of, this area is like a Tim Burton area, which was cool, but it was also weird because it's like the whole time it just felt so weird because this didn't feel like any Gotham we've seen prior to.
No.
And then you get to that part and it's like, that does feel like a Gotham, but it feels like Gotham 1989.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? And that was kind of weird, but I will say it was cool seeing Rosie Perez again because I haven't really seen her very often. But I used to have a big crush on her, and in the movie I'm like, yeah, man, I'm so like, oh, it's so cool seeing her. I don't get why I liked her so much back in the day, and then bam, cuts to her and that bulletproof thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. It's all coming back to me now.
It's all coming back to me now.
Which I'm like, thank you, DC, for giving me that because I needed it.
Yeah.
But no, but like honestly, the cast wasn't bad.
No.
The story wasn't horrible.
No, I see. Like I liked the story. I liked the cast. The direction was pretty okay. It wasn't. Thank God it wasn't like Suicide Squad. It wasn't like Justice League. Thank God. One scene that I did like was when she takes the grenade launcher and she's going around and like, or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
the action stuff was really good.
but there's just I think they're going the wrong way. They keep taking like the wrong things from the things that they've done. And they get the notes from the things that and they're like, okay, Wonder Woman was kind of fun. Oh, yeah, so what if we just made Aquaman super fun? And then it's like, yeah, but you're, like, losing out on, like, other things in this, and you're making it too bright and, like, oh, okay. But what if we just did everything perfect with Shazam? And it's like, oh, okay, so yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do it with Harley Quinn. And then it's like, I don't know. It's just, there's something about it that it's like, it's missing. One thing too, I was telling Steph and Harry after the movie, I was like, with this, it takes place in Gotham, where they already have a superhero who solves crimes. Why didn't Batman solve the crime? I hate to pull that, like, because I hate when people do it in Marvel, but at least with Marvel it makes sense because it takes place in are you in the United States? It's not like
honestly, it would be a cool. It would have been a cool throwaway line, right? Where it's like, oh, well, we gave the word to bats and whatever, but he kind of shrugged it off or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it would have been cool to say that.
or Montoya says something like, "We need to solve this before that vigilante solves it." Like you don't even have to say Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that caped weirdo going around like we got to solve it before him. He keeps taking you know what I mean? Then it would be more urgent because it's like we need to solve it before these guys do.
Like it's not a bad move, honestly. Knowing that this is somewhat of a predecessor to Suicide Squad is funny, but I will say like it's honestly it's a good DC EU watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it sucks because I think, especially with us, we're thinking like, well, was this even close to the original cut? Because when we heard the original cut,
I know, right?
They said like everyone loved it and it was like super great and everything. And who knows? Maybe it was. Maybe they cut it differently, or who knows what they did? Like, what if it was
release all the cuts?
What if the original cut was like a 2-hour, 15-minute film, and the way they cut that made it feel so much more cohesive.
I just don't understand. If they're continuing this universe, and we know Robert Pattinson's Batman isn't the Batman, right? Isn't the Batman in this universe? Who's Batman then, right? Where are these people? Like,
I think what they're trying to do is set it up to where they don't have to answer it, but if the way that this is going, then that means that Aquaman 2 is going to be made probably in the next 3 years.
And they're still doing a Flash movie, I guess.
Oh, yeah, Flash. Because really, I would say that Shazam would be the one that would have to answer part of it, right? Because they'd say like, "Oh, well,
And then they're
you're
having
Superman."
Black Adam too. I don't know. Honestly, I just wish it would just like. I wish they would just stop, right, and just reboot, like literally just reboot it. They did it with Crisis on Infinite Earth. All you have to do is have a crisis where you pick
Infinite Earths.
where yeah no well since they already did it and they showed that the one Flash is in it. Like I was saying, you use that as a way to like, oh, see, that's why Robert Pattinson is the Batman now, because Crisis on Infinite Earth combined the two universe or the two Earths.
But here's the thing: is like it's dumb that we have to go out of our way to try to figure all this shit out when that's the one thing that we really appreciate with MCU is that they were able to start it off right. So it's fine that, oh, well, so wait, where does this movie come in? We can tell you exactly where it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, so wait, Captain Marvel, she's like in the 90s, doesn't make sense. It's like, no, actually it makes a lot of sense. Let me explain it to you. It's super simple.
Mm-hmm.
DC, it's like, well, I mean, I guess that, so wait, so.
And I think DC fans would probably be like, well, you're not supposed to think about it like that much. It's like,
Yeah,
but it's like they planned it to where you should.
Yeah.
You should be thinking about it. It's
Because
like,
every movie that comes out brings up something from another movie, and you're like, wait, they're exactly, because then you're like, wait, but I don't want to be that guy, but where is Batman?
yeah. It's like, yeah, it could have totally ignored Suicide Squad, but it didn't. It chose to reference it.
I don't know. For what this movie was, I liked it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they took so long to make another Harley Quinn movie, it's like, you guys are dumb fucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could have easily done some little random Harley Quinn movie by now, and it would have been fine. It didn't even have to, like we're saying, like, oh, tie into that, whatever, blah blah. You could have just done some dumb movie and have her in there, and it probably would have done perfect.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I like this movie. It just wasn't as good as I was hoping it was going to be.
Yeah.
Especially because of Shazam.
Yeah. I thought, exactly. I thought they would be like, they figured it out, right? They're like, this is how we make a good movie. And then they made Harley Quinn and they're like, but we could just tweak some things here. And it's like, no, stop tweaking it. Because you had it right with Shazam.
That's what sucks. That's what I'm saying is, who knows if this was a better film.
And I know, we like always, it sounds like we shit on DC, because we kind of do. But it's because, for good. Because it's like, they could be way better. They could be just as good as Marvel. But for some reason, honestly, it's just Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers doesn't know what to do. At first, they were like, well, let's go the opposite. And then that didn't work. Well, let's just do the same thing. That didn't work. Instead of trying to do something, like, why don't you just do your own thing? That's what Shazam did, and look how good that movie was.
That's what Joker did.
Yeah, it did its own thing, and that's why they were good.
I don't know. You're right. I just, it's a good movie. If you like it, if you like any of the shit, you're gonna like it.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing horrible to hate. There's no crazy, we're super feminist, so we hate guys.
No.
It's nothing like that. Film Twitter's dumb as shit, so don't even pay attention to that. It felt like it just missed the mark.
Yeah.
But it was close. So, good movie, backed. Watch it if you can.
All right, so let's talk about some deleted scenes and alternate endings that'll change the way you see your favorite movies. So number one, Get Out, there's an alternate ending where the white cops appear at the end instead of Rod, and Chris gets arrested, which I think is on the Blu-ray, DVD special. But I know it's online. You can go and watch it. But yeah, it's kind of like more like messed up, and it's like, oh, that you mean it's the real ending where in real life that's what really would happen, where this black guy would get arrested for killing all these white people, even though he was completely justified in killing these people. Oh, weird how that's the real life, and the fantasy is that it's Rod that comes in at the end. In Avengers Endgame, there's a deleted scene that takes place immediately after Tony dies, where all the Avengers take a knee and honor him. The heartbreaking scene occurs immediately after Tony dies, and Pepper kisses him goodbye. One by one, each Avenger takes a knee to honor their fallen soldier.
If they cut it right, you could cut out most of the funeral scene, and maybe just have like a like a little party.
Yeah.
To celebrate that he died.
To celebrate that he died.
And if you cut it right, it would still play off the same.
I guess
the ending of the funeral part, it was doing exactly what that scene would have done. Show all the people around and that, having to say goodbyes or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that would work. In Devil Wears Prada, there's a deleted scene where Miranda's husband drunkenly ridicules Mr. Ravitz, embarrassing Miranda, and Andy steps in, and Miranda thanks her. Have you ever seen Devil Wears Prada?
I've seen parts of it.
It's a pretty good one. It's not bad. I think Meryl Streep does a really good job, like being
white.
Well, yeah. Is it bad that I feel like that's kind of how she might be in real life? I don't think she actually is, but yeah, but I feel like maybe
I could see it.
She's just a huge bitch. In Scream 4, there's an alternate opening where two teens fake scare each other and pretend to be Ghostface, so when the real killer appears, neither believes he's real. Because you remember in the beginning where they do like the false opening, and then they do the opening, and it's actually another false opening.
I think that was better.
Yeah, I think so too, because I was watching the kill count that he showed at the beginning again. I was like, man, that works so well for like, it's like the most meta commentary of meta. Pretty good. In Mean Girls, there's a deleted scene where post bus crash, Regina George confronts Katie in the school bathroom during spring fling. Katie sincerely apologizes to Regina, and the two of them have a real heart-to-heart. Everything appears to be reconciled, and it marks a true turning point for both characters. Honestly, I think it works better without the scene, because it's just she gets hit by the bus, and then it just moves on. In The Dark Knight, there's an extended scene that takes place immediately after the Joker blows up the hospital and gets in the bus. The scene it's short and simple, but it highlights the true, menacing and mercurial behavior of Heath Ledger's Joker. After he gets on the bus, he doesn't even turn around and look at the destruction he's caused.
Yeah, but they do that so well through the whole movie anyways.
I know.
Like I said, I like the part where he's, talking about how cash doesn't mean shit to him.
Yeah, and he's, letting it burn in the background. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that they clipped it, though. Because it makes it, because you don't need to see that more, because you already saw, like you said, you see him in other scenes doing that. In Titanic, there's an alternate ending where everyone tries to stop Old Rose. I like how they use I'm Old Rose from throwing the heart of the ocean into the water. Oh my God, they're just begging her.
The true alternate ending should have been oh no, guys, we're fine. The ship.
Oh. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
And it's wait, then who's this lady? I'm Old Rose. She's just some crazy old lady. In I Am Legend, there's an alternate ending that actually stays true to the book, in which Will Smith's character lives and discovers that the Dark Seekers have feelings. Because in the movie's real ending, Will Smith's character blows up everyone and blah, blah, blah. And Anna and Ethan escape with the antidote. Which when I saw it, I was like, this is stupid. The book has such a better ending, because it's the whole reason why it's called I Am Legend is because he's the monster to them. The whole time he's been the legend to them. Whatever.
Kidnapping them and shit.
Yeah, and it's
yeah, I don't know. That's something. The way that the movie ended exactly how you imagine a blockbuster movie would end. They take the literal I Am Legend and have him. Oh, he sacrificed himself to give us this antidote. Amazing, but yeah, you're right. Like having that ending is way more like sci-fi
Yeah.
and way cooler. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they can make another adaptation closer to that.
Like the
I mean,
fifth
they've done it.
adaptation.
Like, yeah, they're doing like.
This is like the 5th adaptation. In Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, there's a deleted scene where Aunt Petunia and Dudley say emotional goodbyes to Harry, which honestly, I think this movie kind of needed it because their characters aren't shown in it and they're just kind of just written off, and it's like, I don't know, because each movie and each book starts with him dealing with them, so it's kind of like, oh, that this series ending doesn't even try and resolve like their relationship. I think it's something that maybe at least needed it being in the movie. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes when I see these lists of things, like what could it really be? Because some of them are actually kind of like Get Out. That one actually is like, oh, it actually changes the whole fucking like ending, right?
Yeah, because
like
at the end of it, it's like finally the good guy wins. It's funny.
yeah.
It resolves everything, and you leave with this idea that so something has to come out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like I Am Legend, it changes the whole story from being just like this zombie-like story to being like this
Mad scientist.
Hero
Complex. Yeah.
So sometimes they do matter.
This type of listing isn't new, and it's probably not going away. But a lot of times I see it on YouTube where they'll be like, I just recently watched one, and I was like, this is, I don't understand where it was 8 films that retconned their movies with sequels, but I don't think they understand what the word retcon means, because the way that they did it was like, okay, in like Lethal Weapon 2, like we get to see Mel Gibson, his character is married, right? And they flesh out his marriage and stuff, and then she dies and stuff, and they're like, see, they retconned. Because in the first film, he didn't have a marriage. Or he did, but we didn't get to see his wife. And it's like, okay, but they're fleshing it out. Like, that was the whole point of the second one, was that we got to see more of the character. Like,
so is their idea like, well, in Terminator, he supposedly comes back from the future, but in Terminator 2...
No. That's a retcon is like in Halloween, the new Halloween, saying that Michael Myers isn't her brother, because that is showing that like, oh, like that's, we had to go out of our way to tell you guys like, hey, just so you guys know that doesn't count anymore. And it's like, I mean, it's fun to kind of go through the what ifs of deleted scenes and alternate endings.
Yeah, because some of them, like I said, some of them really do matter. Some of them are interesting, kind of, sometimes when you see the direction they're supposedly going in.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, so why didn't they do that?
Yeah, and then you kind of think of like the world that you would have lived in, where instead of doing this, they did that. And it was actually a good movie.
Like, I mean, that was one of the big things with Blade Runner, how for years it goes back and forth between like, no, this is the ending. Oh, this is the original end. Yeah, but this is the original ending. He wanted to put the original. But see, like, they did release the original ending once, and then it's like, just make up your fucking mind.
I know, I don't even know if is there even a canonical end to that?
Yeah, there's a definitive cut. It might be the new one on Netflix. I think there's another one on Netflix. But yeah, there is a cut where they do finally say, "Oh, his eyes, yeah." So because obviously,
right?
Yeah, in
because
this new
of
one.
because of 2049, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, but see, like that for years, because remember, we only got the sequel like what 3 years ago. So before that, everyone was like, "No, he was a replicant." No. See, like, but see, like, though we don't know that, or oh no, it just insinuates he could be. Oh no, see, but that's the brilliance of like you were playing. You know what I mean?
God damn it.
For years, people argued it, and then finally they're like, no, he was.
I'm so glad I'm not a huge Blade Runner. Like, I'm not a huge nerd about Blade Runner. It's like I like it, but I'm not going to sit here and debate like whether or not the ending, especially with the unicorn and this and that, and blah blah blah. And it's like now you're just getting too much into this.
But nonetheless, it's cool. Plus, it's awesome knowing that people still, you know, because you would think that making film for so long, even with some of these directors, like they know how to streamline things. But it's kind of funny knowing that even now people are like, what if we just shot this other ending just in case? Because, you know, who knows? Like, who knows if one film was supposed to be one way and then they're like, hey, let's just do this other one. And then the original ending becomes the alternate ending. And that's always cool. Like I said, even with Get Out.
Yeah.
Look how big Get Out was. And there was a point where he was like, maybe we should just end it kind of bleak. So I don't know. It's cool. And I do like hearing about some of this stuff too. But I mean, we'll obviously get into things like this in the future because all this shit's really interesting to us.
Yeah.
But for now, we'll just say thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you guys.
We appreciate you guys, obviously. If you want to go ahead and follow us on any of your streaming services, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on wherever you can find streaming, we're most likely on there. So if you want to go ahead and just give us a follow, you'll get the episode right away. But if you would rather wait for us to give you an update, you can follow us on our Instagram, our Twitter, that's INTB_podcast. You can follow our YouTube channel. All of our new episodes get uploaded there as soon as we upload our episodes everywhere else. We'll have a link in the show notes, so check it out. Or you can email us directly at intbpodcast@gmail.com. And just let us know, like, is there any alternate ending or deleted scene that like completely changed the movie for you that you're like, man, why did they put that in there? Or why didn't they go that way?
Yeah. Or did you like Birds of Prey? Did you hate Birds of Prey? No, wait.
Did you like Harley Quinn?
No, shoot. You know what? Whatever the movie's called, did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's call it new DC movie.
Yeah, new DC movie. But yeah, no, honestly, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you guys.
We always appreciate it. Hopefully these coughs and these snuffles finally go away. And yeah, let us know. Like I said, let us know whatever. Do you have an episode you want us to do? You know, maybe you want us to cover a subject or a topic of some sort, or you want us to review a movie.
Yeah,
should we talk about Sonic?
Yo, hit us up.
Should we talk about Fantasy Island?
Yeah.
But until then, guys, as always, remember.
Oh, it's not that bad.
It's not that